Polish Americans in this northeastern area. Adamek has been their hero for several years, and when he fights here, wherever he fights in this area, you can expect a big turnout.
He has, and he's 10-1 in the heavyweight division, Kenny. He's been very successful, very good. A guy who's moved up as a world champion at 175 and also cruiserweight. Just been a very easy guy to follow and love because he's a very entertaining style of fighting. Cruiserweight
and light heavyweight champ. He thinks he might be a couple of wins away from getting another title shot in the heavyweight ranks. He had one against Vitaly Klitschko and lost, but he's fighting in Dominick Guinn, a man who has never been stopped. He's been a tough fighter throughout a very up and down career. It's really a two-half of a career. First half, he was 24-0, 10-9-1 since then.
See Dominick Guinn doing some very interesting things here in the first round. Comes out jabbing to the body of Tomasz immediately in the first round. He's actually shot more punches than Tomasz, and he told us yesterday he's going to let his hands go, but he's taunting and feigning. He looks sharp tonight, Kenny.
Well, Guinn knows, the 38-year-old from Hot Springs, Arkansas, that this is his moment again. Maybe his biggest moment since back in June of '03 when he defeated Michael Grant, and they were talking about him being one of the next big things in boxing.
Well, they were. After he defeated Michael Grant, he also had a victory around that same time over Duncan Dokawari. He then ran into Monty Barrett, who was an underdog, but upset Dominick Guinn and kind of knocked him off course. But he says a win over Tomasz Adamek will put him right back in the heavyweight landscape.
This certainly would, and Guinn knows what's at stake here, as does Adamek. And they know each other well. Former sparring partner, Guinn had some fun and wore a Team Adamek t-shirt to the weigh-in yesterday.
A little unconventional, but, in this fight, one thing that's interesting, something we don't see very often, Adamek's normally the bigger, stronger guy in his last couple fights coming forward. Steve Cunningham, Eddie Chambers, he's been the bully, and in this fight, Dominick Guinn is the harder puncher. It's just a question of, if Dominick Guinn will let his hands go, and Tomasz is very good when he's letting go his combinations. And make no mistake about it, Guinn is a very heavy-handed heavyweight.
The chance of Adamek going up throughout the arena.
Nice left hook from Guinn. And one thing Dominick Guinn told us he remembered about the sparring session, he's a very active fighter, he's a very busy fighter. And so far in the first round, Tomasz is kind of taking it slow. It's the first round of a 10-round fight, but he's feeling Guinn out more. Nice hook by Guinn again.
Rapid-fire jabs from Adamek.
Dominick's got to make sure he doesn't lunge in with that left hook. Shoot the jab, then shoot the hook, shoot the right hand or the hook. Good first round from Guinn.
Solid first round to get this heavyweight bout underway. Earlier tonight, Mchunu defeated Eddie Chambers, and Chris Mannix caught up with Chambers.
Eddie, what happened out there tonight?
Just very awkward style. Really didn't really want to press any action. Didn't want to give any real play. So I had to take all the chances, and just ended up bad. It just didn't turn out the way I expected.
Where do you go from here?
Not sure, man. Got to go back to the drawing board, talk to my trainer, my business manager, and see where we go and see what's the best bet. But right now, it's not a good feeling. So just got to sit on it.
Thanks, Eddie.
No problem. Thank you.
Kenny?
Thanks, Chris. Tubiso Mnuchin, though, what a impressive fighter he is. Curtis Stevens has really been impressive. He's going for his 4th straight tonight. He's number 6 in the world. Saul Roman is a guy that's fought 6 champions throughout his career. He is a tough fighter. Interesting matchup with the NABF middleweight title on the line. That coming up next in our main event here on Fight Night. And now we go into round 2. Dominick Guinn in the silver with black, in the blue and white, Tomasz Adamek. Guinn with a solid first round against an old sparring partner. He helped Adamek train for some of those title fights that he won. And Guinn got the first round, according to our Larry Hazard, 10-9 over Adamek. And it was a good round for Guinn.
I agree. He started off jabbing. He landed some very nice hooks in the round. Adamek landed a good right hand at the end of the round, but overall, Dominick Guinn landed the hardest shots in that first round. Very important on the outside that if Dominick wants to stay in this fight, good right hand from Dominick Guinn. He's got to use the left jab to continue to stay in this fight. Adamek has very fast hands, good combinations, and Guinn can't get behind the 8-ball.
You see the snap and the quickness that Adamek has on his jab.
You see it, yeah. It's another good right hand from Dominick Guinn right there. Two good right hands so far in the second round. Adamek's got to make an adjustment, pick that left hand up, or start to roll with that punch.
And a good right. Guinn still impressive in the early going.
And Tomasz has got to put himself in a situation that he's not normally used to. He's got to box a little more. He's been bullying some of these guys lately. You know, he's been fighting smaller guys and had to adapt to their styles. But with Dominick Guinn, he's a more solid puncher. He's a little more settled, and Tomasz needs to get back to up and down with his combinations and being tricky.
Adamek throwing more punches, but Guinn, one could argue, more effective in his punch.
Absolutely. Dominick's landed some good right hands this round, and you know, Tomasz has felt those. And even though Dominick has lost a lot of fights overseas, he hasn't always won, come out on the winning side of those. He's never been stopped, and one thing he's always had is good power. So Tomasz needs to recognize that and just continue to, you know, pile up the points and put rounds in the bank.
Well, it's very misleading, that 10-9-1 record over the last 20, wouldn't you say? Very
misleading. He's been very effective. He's been fighting very high-level opposition, going the distance with these guys, and you know, been fighting some very big names. Krulev, you know, a couple other really good guys over in Europe, and you know, it's tough to beat those guys in their hometown.
And that may be the biggest thing. Is that he has never been stopped. And Adamek trying to close out strong this round. Get the crowd on their feet, maybe try to influence the judges a little bit. We've seen Adamek do that before as round 2 comes to an end. We have an exclusive look for you at the film right now, The Good Son, a documentary on Ray Boom Boom Mancini's life, the ups and downs of his boxing career. Take a look.
He was the hottest thing on television. His fights were action-packed.
You know, I was on top of the world, man. I was riding the wave. And then after that, it all came crashing down.
For him to tragically have taken a life of a father and now to meet that son, that's got to be a real challenge for Ray.
But I think at that moment, I'm going to feel a sense of relief, a sense of peace. I hope he finds the same.
The Good Son, now available on demand and iTunes.
And we're happy to welcome in now one of the greats in boxing, former world champion Ray Boom Boom Mancini, who is here with us. Welcome in, Ray. Hey, what's this documentary like for you to watch it? You lived it, obviously, but to watch it and hear guys like Ed O'Neill and Mickey Rourke comment about your life.
Well, it's a bit surreal, that's for sure. But these guys, they're good friends, and I appreciate them being involved with it. Ray Leonard's also in it, speaks very good. So I'm just proud of it. It's as good as it's going to get, and I think people will enjoy it. At least I hope they do.
Ray's going to stay with us as we go into round 3 of these heavyweights. Dominick Guinn in the silver and black, Tomasz Adamek in the blue and white. What do you think about the fight so far, Ray?
I got to tell you, for heavyweights, it's not a bad fight. You know, and I say that because most heavyweights, we know, lacks action. But this fight is actually good. I like Adamek. I've seen him fight before, and I remember seeing Dominick Guinn fight before. He was a little thinner. He had the dreads at the time, but he could fight. You know, but you know, the bottom line is, at heavyweights, you can make money, but you got to just put on a show. You got to try a little bit.
Larry Hazard scoring that last round for Adamek, which would make it unofficially even now as we go into round 3.
Dominick had a very good first round. Adamek came on strong in the end of the second round, and you know, it's a 10-round fight, so there's a lot of fight left, but pretty even through 2. Kind of a cupping right hand to the head of Adamek there by Dominick Guinn. And like I said before in the beginning of the fight, Dominick Guinn may not look flashy, he may not look fancy, but he's a heavy-handed kid. And, you know, in the heavyweight division, sometimes that's all it takes.
Well, and you have a guy that's had 44 pro fights as a heavyweight, and he's never been stopped, Ray. That says a lot.
Oh, no, absolutely. And like I said, I've seen him fight before. through the years, and he can fight. Dominick Guinn can fight, there's no doubt. You know, but you have to question now, what's the desire like? Yeah. He's been in it for so long.
Well, he was talking that this is his moment. You know, this is a moment he hasn't had in a long time with the national spotlight on him.
Exactly. Well, it's hard for network getting involved with the television. I mean, network getting back involved with fighting. It's good. It's good for the game. We need it to get back to the popularity we once had.
I agree. And Adamek is making Dominick Guinn miss a little more in this round, going back to his conventional boxing, left jab, up and down, making Dominick Guinn. Good left hook by Guinn, but Adamek so far is doing a good job controlling this round.
Guinn slid that left hook in as Adamek rolled that shoulder a little bit, almost daring him to come in.
Yeah, Gwynn's got a sneaky left hook. We've seen him land it a couple times. He landed the right hand good a couple times in the second round. And, you know, he's fighting Tomasz, but he's got to make sure Tomasz doesn't get that momentum like we've seen him do so many times.
And Adamek, as we have seen in recent fights that have gone the distance, he gets stronger as the fight goes on. And he's known for closing out with a flurry of punches to get everybody excited as the round ends and maybe, you know, try to steal a round every now and then.
Dominick Guinn got a headbutt there, and he's got a cut over his right eye.
And there you see it popped right up. There is blood over that right eye, and it's beginning to swell.
It was from a headbutt. I saw it. Dominick Guinn complained to the headbutt, and then, you know, immediately after the clinch, we saw blood coming out of his eye, and, you know, hopefully the referee will make the right ruling. He's still making the right call on that.
Dan Schiavone comes by the referee and tells us an accidental headbutt. And there you see it. And Joe Villanueva is going to be a busy man over there.
Get that head back. Boxing beautiful. Just keep boxing beautiful. You don't have to knock him out. We just have to win the fight. Keep that left hand up. He's looking for the counter shot.
They always call him Roger Bloodworth. he doesn't get rattled very much, does he?
Oh, he doesn't. He's been in a lot of high-level, high-pressure fights with Tomasz, and, you know, he thinks his guy's fighting a good fight, and I have to agree with him. He said, listen, pick your left hand up. He's looking for the right hand. Keep boxing. We're not, you know, we don't have to score the knockout. Let's squad and get the win, and, you know, that's how the knockout comes.
According to CompuBox, Adamek landing on 50% of his power punches in that last round. And again, another round scored. Larry Hazard scoring it for Adamek.
You see some of the Vaseline hanging off the right eye of Dominick Guinn. It's going to be interesting to see how Dominick Guinn behaves over these next couple rounds. If the corner of him can stop the bleeding, or if it's going to be too much of a distraction for Dominick Guinn to make sure he stays in this fight.
Let's check in with Chris.
Roger, what are you seeing out there right now?
Thomas seems to be able to control the pace, and he's controlling what's going on. I think Dominick's going to start trying to come a little bit harder. I don't know how good a shape he's really in. He's catching a lot of punches, but he's a guy with a good chin, and he's got good power. So Thomas has to be on his game. He can't get sloppy with it.
What do you got to be careful of over these last few rounds?
Dominick's right hand. He's got a strong right hand. Remember, he knocked Michael Grant out with a right hand in the 7th round. And so Thomas has to keep moving his head, using that jab. Just like that. Just put combinations together. All I want him to do is win one round at a time.
Thanks, Roger.
Guinn started off good. Adamek, you see, has just dominated since then. The total punches thrown and landing some good ones now. Ray Boom Boom Mancini.
I mean, that was a great combination. You know, that's what you don't see heavyweights. You don't see a lot of fighters, but especially heavyweights, throw 3-4 punch combinations.
And that's one thing that Tomasz brings with him to the heavyweight division, from the light heavyweight division, from the cruiserweight division. He had to do that to be a world champion at that level, and it's nice to see he continues to do those same things in the heavyweight division.
Well, for him to be successful, he's not as big as a lot of these guys, but he's got to move, he's got to have faster hands.
And he's got good hand speed for a heavyweight, right?
Yeah, oh, absolutely does.
Nice to see him using it.
Sure.
We've seen that jab be such an effective weapon for him over the course of the last 2 years here on Fight Night.
I got to say, another thing I'm impressed with is his distance. He knows how to keep, he keeps his distance just out of reach of his opponent's punches. He slides in with his own feet to get to land his punches. I like his footwork.
Yeah, he's not a bouncy guy, but he slides in and out very nice and creates offensive opportunities and defense at the same time because he slides out of range after he's done punching.
Exactly.
Good stuff from Tomasz in this 4th round.
Adamek taking charge of this fight now as it moves on. Good work in that corner, though. That cut over Guinn's eye. It's looked pretty good so far. Adamek once again going in and throwing punches as round comes to an end. And welcome back, Uncasville, Connecticut, the Mohegan Sun, a popular destination for relaxation and taking chances, and also to see some interesting sporting action. And to see Curtis Stevens, who had one of the best knockouts of his career here in this very arena back in January. And he is on a roll, ranked number 6 in the world among middleweights, taking on Saul Ramon. That is coming up in a 10-rounder for the NABF middleweight title. And back to action here with our heavyweights, Dominick Guinn in the silver and black, Tomasz Adamek in the blue and white. Kenny Rice, BJ Flores, and happy to have with us special guest, former world champ Ray Boom Boom Mancini. As we go into round number 5, Adamek getting stronger as the rounds move toward the middle of this fight. And we've seen that all the time in his career, it seems.
I feel like this is a very important round for Dominick Guinn to assert himself and really make an effort to win this round, because I see this fight getting away from him now, and Tomasz gets that momentum. He's tough to stop down the stretch.
Larry Hazard scored the last round again for Adamek now, who is way ahead on points unofficially. Back in the 3rd round, an accidental headbutt from Adamek opened a cut over the right eye of Guinn. It appears to be holding up okay. Let's check in Guinn's corner, though, with Chris Mannix.
Jay, how big an issue is that cut for Dominick?
I don't think it's an issue at all, really. It's a small cut. I got a great cut man, Joe Villanueva. Dominick's a veteran of over 40 professional fights and maybe 200 amateur fights, so I don't see it being an issue. The first round after a cut, of course, he's thinking about it, but I don't think it's going to be an issue at all.
Tomasz has started to put the pressure on these last couple of rounds. What do you want to see out of Dominick?
I just want to see him counter with more than one shot. Right now, I think he's going for one big shot on the counter, and I told him in the corner to come back with a combination to counter. So it's actually to our benefit that Tomasz is getting a little aggressive, and he's coming forward, because that way we can land our big shots.
Thanks, Jay.
That's Chris with Jay Johnson, trainer of Dominick Guinn, and giving due credit to Joe Villanueva, the cut man. Got to have a good cut man in your corner, don't you guys?
We saw Joe Villanueva come to the fighter meetings yesterday with his Vaseline and with his Q-tips inside of his wristband. So, this guy's ready. He said, just in case a cut breaks out at the fighter meetings, I want to be prepared. So I'm sure Dominick's in good hands over there.
You see Adamek continue to pepper with that jab. And he is a guy, Ray, does it surprise you? Does he seem to be a guy that gets quicker for a bigger fighter?
I don't know if he gets quicker, but he has quick hands. He's had it from the get, right from the first round on, his hands been moving pretty good. But what I like about him, and BJ said it best earlier, he slides in and out. He slides, just in and out of range of his opponent's punches. Good footwork. I'm really impressed with that. Reminds me like of an old-time fighter, you know what I mean?
Does. It looks like he's not having to exert a lot of effort. He's very efficient with what he does, using the jab to set up the other power punches. And like I said, it's important that Guinn starts to assert himself, because many times, nice stiff jab by Guinn, many times Guinn will get lulled into inactivity and fight competitive rounds, but still rounds that he's losing.
Another great round here by Tomasz Adamek as we move now to the halfway point of this scheduled 10-rounder, and Adamek continues to control with the punches and the pace now against Guinn. And we're so happy to have Boom Boom Mancini stop by. Ray, it's always a pleasure. Best wishes with the movie, the documentary.
Appreciate it. Thank you, brother.
Good having you.
Go see it. It's great, and it's heartfelt, and I really, there's not many films about boxers like this one, Ray, I would say.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, Ray Mancini with us. You stay with us. More action on Fight Night here. And back at Fight Night. Want to take another look at that cut, perhaps over the right eye of Guinn, Dominick Guinn in the silver and black. Tomasz Adamek in control of this fight now as we go to round 6, scheduled for 10. Total punches through 5 rounds according to CompuBox. Adamek now taking over 86 of those compared to 30, and he has outlanded in power punches 60-17 in the last 3 rounds. This is not unusual for a Tomasz Adamek fight. Larry Hazard gives that last round again to Adamek. I believe that's all but one that Adamek now has won. Guinn got the first one started off. We have seen this throughout, though, BJ. The pacing and things of Adamek, it just seems to get even more crisp as the fight goes along.
It does, and ever since Dominick Guinn got cut in that 4th round, he slowed his pace down tremendously, and he's got to get back to work here if he wants to stay in this fight, Kenny. The main difference, when he came out in the 1st and 2nd round, he was using that stiff, hard left jab. He's put that punch away, and it's given Tomasz the ability to control the action.
Stevens Roman for the NABF middleweight title coming up next. Curtis Stevens, as hot as any boxer in this season.
He's done a good job in his last couple fights. We've had him on the network here, and he's got a real tough test in front of him with Saul Roman, a guy who's been in with very high-level opposition, a kid who fought Sergio Martinez, fought Vanes Martirosyan, an Olympian for the USA in the 2004 Olympics, and he's fought a really high-level opposition, so a good test for Curtis Stevens tonight.
Talk about some tough fighting as well. Adamek, who is 48-2. The 2 losses, he lost his title to Chad Dawson, and then lost to Vitaly Klitschko, trying to take his heavyweight title from him. That's your only 2 losses of your career.
The fight I was actually at, whenever Chad fought Tomasz for that light heavyweight title, I was actually in camp with Chad. You know, Chad is a special fighter at 175 at that time and fought a great fight. And Tomasz said he was coming down in weight quite a bit. In the Vitaly Klitschko fight, who can fault Tomasz for not being able to beat Vitaly Klitschko? But everyone else he seemed to get past and do so in impressive fashion. He's boxing a good fight tonight, Kenny.
Former cruiserweight champ, former light heavyweight champ, like he said. And he may be getting closer. He's ranked number 5 in the world. Maybe he will get, with a couple of more wins, another title shot.
That's very possible. He's got a great following. People love Tomasz Adamek. He fights and represents an entire country of Poland and has always done it very proudly and very well. And every time he fights, you know you're going to get an entertaining fight. So why not put him in another title fight?
Watch your heads, fellas. Coming in on that hedge. Let's go.
Ben Savoni there, you heard him warn about the heads earlier in this fight. An inadvertent head bump from Adamek cut Guinn over his right eye. Since then, Adamek has been taking charge of this fight.
Deep breath. Don't forget my feints. Feints and jabs. You gotta need more jabs out of you. I need more jabs out of you, all right? Be a little busier this round. Real loose and busy, though. Just punch with him. When he feel like punching, when he's punching, punch with him, all right? You're gonna win. You're gonna win it. You're gonna win the exchange if you punch with him. You
It's
understand?
on the money tonight, baby. The jab hand, the hook, the right hand, everything's working for you. Deep breath.
Make sure you clean up that water.
We heard from Jay Johns telling Guinn he's got to get busy, and Roger Bloodworth kind of summing up this fight for his man Tomasz Adamek in the blue with the white trunks. Just kind of keep doing what you're doing because you're in control of this fight. And in typical fashion, as we had Boom Boom Mancini on earlier, he talked about him being old school, and I thought that kind of painted the perfect picture for Adamek.
Nice left hook by Dominick Guinn, just landed a few moments ago. But, you know, Tomasz Adamek, the corner, Roger Bloodworth, very happy with the work he's doing. Great combination punching. And Jay Johns told Dominick Guinn, hey, we got to start to exchange when he punches because that's our only opening.
Larry Hazard again, another round for Tomasz Adamek. This is round 7, scheduled for 10 of heavyweights. Adamek coming in here 48-2. Dominick Guinn, his former sparring partner, the biggest fight he's had in years. And he is fighting tough, but it's been an uphill battle so far.
Good punches from Dominick Guinn in the beginning of this round with those left hooks. He needs to get back to the jab here. Got Tomasz a little bit on his heels, not much. He'll recover in about 20-30 seconds if Dominick doesn't seize the momentum here.
Tobiso Mchunu in his U.S. debut was impressive as a cruiserweight ranked number 7 in the world, a dominating unanimous decision victory over Eddie Chambers to get us started on fight night. And coming up next, the NABF welterweight title is on the line, middleweight title rather. It's going to be Curtis Stevens and Saul Ramon. And Stevens trying for his 4th straight win. And wow, has his career been revived over the last year?
Yeah, it has. Stevens done a good job, and you got a big, difficult fight coming up in a little bit. You saw Tomasz kind of slip a little bit. He's done it a couple times, lost his footing this round. Maybe he's getting a little fatigued, or maybe he's, you know, sliding on that logo and it gets a little slippery up there sometimes.
Well, look at the punches landed.
Yeah, Tomasz is running away with it. See him using that educated left jab, setting up all of his combinations.
He's got a PhD in that jab by now, hasn't he?
Beautiful, and he's using it very nice. He's going up and down. He's double jabbing, he's triple jabbing. And one thing he's doing, he's keeping Dominick Guinn off balance, and that's what you want to do when you're facing a big puncher. In a standard case of Dominick Guinn, he's just too handcuffed. But when he does punch, he's very dangerous.
Well, he is dangerous, and again, he's never been stopped. Throughout his career against some tough fighters, he has never been knocked out.
And Team Adamek was very respectful of that. They said, you know, this guy is in for the long haul. We're not going to knock him out. You know, going in with the right mentality, Tomasz is fighting the right type of fight. Guinn is very heavy-handed, and that jab is really throwing Dominick Guinn off.
Adamek looks sharp here as we get ready to wrap up the 7th round. This is his first fight of 2013. And you see the power of Adamek. Saturday, August 17th, NBC and the NBC Sports Network become the new home for the Barclays Premier League. And for the first time ever, watch every match, every week on TV and online. The Barclays Premier League beginning in 2 weeks on NBC and NBCSN. And welcome back inside Fight Night here at Mohegan Sun. Tomasz Adamek trying for his 49th career victory. In control of this fight. This is his first fight of 2013, taking on his former sparring partner, the much-traveled Dominick Guinn. Guinn hanging tough, but Adamek doing what he does best, using the jab to set everything else up as we go into round 8 scheduled for 10.
Well, Adamek's shown us what he's always shown us. Good combination punching, very crisp, sharp jab, and you know, he's in tremendous shape. So I expect more of the same in these final 3 rounds. But you know, Guinn's got to get his own jab going because he is a powerful, heavy-handed fighter when he uses that jab.
And Larry Hazard unofficially scoring it for us. Guinn gets the first round, and it's been a shutout since, all to Adamek. And that cut was open early over the right eye. By an inadvertent headbutt of Guinn. They took another look at it. Action continues. Let's check in with Chris.
Roger, you seem very happy with Tomasz's jab tonight. Why is it so effective?
Because we worked a lot on distance and stance, and his stance is a lot different. He doesn't not as square as he used to be. He's not as European as he used to be. So, you know, it's a lot easier for him to box this way. He doesn't use as much energy. And as long as he doesn't revert and keeps the position that I want him in, he should be able to control the fight.
You've emphasized that Dominick might get desperate these last couple of rounds. What do you expect from him?
War. You know, he's hurt a little bit. I can see his eyes are cut and swelling up, but I don't know how he feels inside, but he hasn't quit.
Thanks, Roger.
Not quite as European as he used to be, huh, BJ?
Yeah, it just means he's not as straight up. He's using more upper body movement. He's got his back right foot in better position to be able to evade punches. But with that being said, when his right foot is back further, he's always in position to fire that right hand and move his head at the same time. So it's just a better overall stance for Tomasz, and he's shown to be a much improved fighter tonight.
And the spacing, great throughout the evening. Doesn't look like he's missed a beat. The total punches thrown.
Ray Mancini touched on that earlier. He likes the way Tomasz slides in and out. And it's effective both on offense and on defense. Doing a very good job of that.
The thing is, he still looks strong, still moving, and you see the number of punches, over 500 punches thrown for a big man in round 8 now, moving on in this fight.
And Dominick said yesterday in the fighter meetings, you know, one thing I remember about Tomasz in our sparring sessions, he's very active. He throws a lot of punches, and we got a game plan for that. But, you know, Dominick is not letting his hands go enough to be competitive in this fight now.
And the jab with the follow-ups, nice combinations by Adamek, and Guinn has not been able to get close to him since the early part of this fight. He's kept him off balance.
He's done a great job. And like I said, the jab has been the reason for Dominick not being able to get off and being off balance. Tomasz, like a good small man should always do, is sticking that left jab in Dominick Guinn's face 40, 50 times around.
Final seconds, round 8. Guinn still standing, but Adamek still in control.
All right, listen.
And you see the cheers from mostly this pro-Adamek crowd. Sal Roman coming in from Mexico. 6 champions he has fought in his career. He's won 37, 31 of those by knockout. He is a gritty, tough fighter, and a great challenge tonight for Curtis Stevens, who is on a roll, trying for his 4th straight victory, ranked number 6 in the world. And the NABF Middleweight Championship is on the line in this. And Stevens, 2-0 this year on fight night. We saw him with a knockout here back to start the year, and then a decision victory in New York, and now he's back at Mohegan Sun. You see the work continues on the right eye of Dominick Guinn, and Joe Villanueva, the cut man, doing a nice job with that. That was opened up early in this fight with an inadvertent headbutt.
Combinations, you bring that right. You're looking for the hook. You got to bring that right hand back.
Time. Go. Let's go. Neutral corner. Come on. Let's go.
Adamek is averaging 30 jabs. He's averaging more jabs per round than Guinn is punches per round as we start number 9.
He's been very effective with that punch, Kenny. And you see in the beginning of this 9th round, Dominick Guinn's eye, they stopped the bleeding, but now the swelling is the problem. The doctor took a real good look at it in between rounds there, and this fight is very close to being stopped.
Right.
See, Dominick is kind of loading up now. He's got to make sure that he doesn't just look for the one punch, but it's getting late in the fight. He realized he can't win a fight on the scorecards now, and that eye is closing fast.
Stevens and Ramon coming up next. Adamek with a strong return here in 2013.
Yeah, he's doing good. Good last 4 or 5 rounds for Adamek. Boxing very effectively, and Guinn, once again, he's just not punching enough, you know. And a big part of that is that eye. His eye's swollen shut, it's bleeding, and ever since then, he hasn't really been in this fight, Kenny.
Adamek continues to flash that jab. He has been great with it throughout this evening.
Nice combination from Adamek.
There's the power punches landed, 112 to 35. 113 still counting for Adamek, who shows no signs of slowing down here in the 9th round.
Yeah, and why would he? Dominick Guinn's not letting his hands go and not giving him anything to think about. When you let Adamek punch without having to worry about a counter or worry about anything in return, he's very dangerous because he's got a very good offense.
And the Adamek cheer goes up throughout Mohegan Sun Arena.
He works up and down very effectively. He mixes in the body shots. He's got the good double and triple jab. Very rapid hand speed, and he's tough to contend with when he doesn't have anything coming back at him. Nice left hook to the body to the head by Dominick Guinn.
Nice double up by Guinn, the best punch, best combination he's had in a long time.
It's almost shocking to see Dominick put 2 punches together in a row, but you know, he's like, hey, the first hook landed, might as well shoot the second one.
You see that swelling on that right eye.
Yeah, it's bad. And I think after this round, Kenny, the ref, and the doctor need to go into the corner of Dominick Guinn and take a real good look. He's not you know, in danger of getting hurt and permanently ending his career, but, you know, he's way down on the scorecards, and that eye's getting bad. I don't really think there's a need to do this 10th round.
As the seconds tick down in round 9, Tomasz Adamek in his 2013 debut has been dominant. But what about that right eye of Dominick Guinn? Will the 38-year-old from Hot Springs, Arkansas, be able to come out and answer the bell here for the 10th and final round?
You know, if it's up to Dominick Guinn, he's going to answer the bell. He's never been stopped. But let's go back and look at it. Here's the headbutt here in the 3rd round whenever Dominick first suffered that eye injury. You see him right there showing that, you know, contact with the head was made. And 7 rounds later, it's become a major problem in this fight, Kenny.
D, the right hand got to come back after the hook, son. You're touching it with hooks, but you're not bringing the right hand back. If you bring the right hand back,
his hands down a little bit. Jab, hook, jab, right hand, body shots, everything's there for you. Just take what he gives you. Don't get greedy.
A great comeback fight for Tomasz Adamek here. 240 days off, I believe is what we said. He needed a rest, Kenny. And he looks tonight refreshed, recharged, and he's doing a good job against a very dangerous opponent, Dominick Guinn.
He threw 84 punches in that last round. That's his highest punch total, and it happened in the 9th round. We go into the 10th and final round, Guinn and Adamek.
And 2 reasons for that, Kenny. Tomasz is comfortable now. He's loosened up. And Dominick Guinn simply isn't punching, and it's creating many opportunities for Tomasz to be offensive on Dominick.
Guinn started off good in the early rounds. Our Larry Hazard actually gave him the 1st round to Guinn, and then it's been Adamek taking over and just getting stronger, not just winning, but even getting more dominant as this fight's gone on.
Yeah, he has. And, you know, it hasn't been clear sailing for Dominick Guinn. Obviously, Tomasz Adamek has, you know, controlled him and dominated him. But you throw that hugely swollen and bleeding right eye, it makes it even more difficult when you're facing a world-level opponent. And, you know, Dominick Guinn's an experienced fighter, but not enough to, you know, keep it competitive on the scorecards tonight.
Stevens Roman coming up next. Curtis Stevens trying to pick up his 4th straight win and continue to move up the ranks.
And this is exactly what the corner of Adamek asked for. You know, don't be greedy. If he takes it, give it to you, but, you know, don't get over anxious here because Dominick's still a good puncher. And Tomasz is just fighting a great 10th round.
Adamek as strong as ever here in the 10th round. And Guinn still hanging in throughout his career, a career that was basically 2 halves. 24-0 he started. He's 10-9-1 since then. He's fought some tough guys. Had a few bad breaks along the way, but one thing, he has never been stopped in a fight.
Yeah, he's always had a great chin, and he's always been a big puncher, Kenny. And you know, Tomasz is fighting a very good fight for that type of fighter. Using a lot of lateral movement, sliding in and out, double and triple jabs, working up and down, and he's got Dominick way behind the 8 ball here.
Stevens Roman, our main event here on Fight Night. Adamek loads up, goes to the body. It's almost like an old sparring session, these 2 former sparring partners. That's the way it looks right now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Wrapping it up, it's like Adamek's out there sparring his way to the end of this fight.
Yeah, seems to be a little heated for a sparring session, but you can definitely tell these guys have some experience together and know each other. Tomasz, I think, is fighting a very good fight, fighting within himself, and Dominick has simply got a very bad eye and has been broken down by Tomasz Adamek over 10 rounds.
The way Adamek's moving around now and all, get a little extra work in there. It's been a great return. His first fight in over 240 days, 2nd longest layoff of his career. His first fight of this year, and a great way to start it against a very tough and game Dominick Guinn. And you see the respect that the 2 guys, the former sparring partners, have for each other. And there's just 1, 2 of the many fans, the red and white, throughout this arena for the native Poland and the pride they have in their own Tomasz Adamek. Adamek from Poland made his home in Jersey City, New Jersey for several years. and has a great following throughout the Northeast. There's that cut over Guinn's eye. An inadvertent headbutt back in round 3, but it did factor into this fight, perhaps, as it went along.
Yeah, it definitely did. Dominick Guinn kind of stopped fighting after he got that original headbutt. You know, the cut opened up, the swelling began, and he had to completely change his game plan, and he wasn't able to adapt. Tomasz Adamek got much more busy, worked the combinations up and down, and really controlled the fight from there on out, Kenny.
So it goes to the judges. We await what we think is a very obvious decision. Meanwhile, Curtis Stevens backstage. Showtime is back. Stevens on a roll right now and moving up to number 6 in the world. The judges have made their decisions rather quickly, as expected, and here's Joe with the verdict.
Boxing fans, after 10 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Glenn Feldman scores the bout 98-92, while judges John McKay and Don Trella score it 99-91. All in favor of your winner by unanimous decision. From Gilowice, Poland, Tomasz
Hazard had it right there on the money. 99-91 is the way he had it scored. You heard a dominant decision and dominant numbers tonight for Adamek. As we look at the total punches,